Dear devotees, here we are once again reading the holy Valmiki Ramayana as retold by Krishna Dharma. We've reached the second part, chapter 7, the Rakshasi Shurpanakha. The time passed quickly for Rama and his companions. They lived in almost complete solitude, seeing only an occasional ascetic. Although Rama wanted to face the Rakshasas, no opportunity presented itself. One day, just as their 10th winter in exile was ending, a powerful Rakshasi named Shurpanakha, the sister of Ravana, came to the Panchavati region. While she was roaming about looking for food, she saw Rama's footprints and followed them. Soon she arrived at Rama's cottage. As she came near the hermitage, she saw Rama seated outside his hut. She was immediately attracted to the handsome Rama, with his powerful frame and majestic bearing. Her mind filled with lust, she assumed the form of a beautiful woman and walked slowly before him. "Who are you dressed in ascetic garb, yet wielding weapons?" the Rakshasi asked. "Why have you come to this forest, which is frequented by Rakshasas? Please, be pleased to tell me." Rama looked guilelessly at the Rakshasi. "There was a powerful king named Dasharatha," he replied. "I am his son, Rama, and this is my brother Lakshman. There is the princess of Videha, my wife, Sita. On my father's command, I am sojourning here in the forest. Now tell me, who are you, O beautiful maiden? Who is your husband? You seem to be a Rakshasi, capable of assuming various guises. Tell me truly, why have you approached me?" Shurpanakha moved her hips and glanced down coyly. "Know me to be Shurpanakha, sister of the unconquerable Ravana. Living here with my other brothers, Cara and Dushana, I range these woods, devouring ascetics and causing fear to all. However, upon seeing you, I long to embrace you as my husband." Shurpanakha hoped that even if Rama was not attracted to her, out of fear of her, he might accede to her request. Hearing that she was a Rakshasi, Rama and Lakshman looked at her in surprise. In her fine silks and ornaments, she appeared exactly like a celestial maiden. She moved closer to Rama and smiled. "Oh Rama, of what use to you is this skinny and deformed woman?" she asked, throwing a disdainful glance at Sita. "Accept me as your wife. I am possessed of great power. After devouring this wife and brother of yours, I will carry you to high mountain reaches where we can sport together in joy." Rama laughed heartily. He decided to joke with the infatuated Rakshasi. "Oh beautiful woman, I am already married. For ladies like you, it is always painful to have a co-wife. Here, though, is my younger brother. He is handsome and highly qualified, and is as yet unmarried. Why not take him as your worthy husband?" Shurpanakha turned quickly toward Lakshman, who stood smiling with his hand resting on his bow. The Rakshasi moved toward him. "See my alluring form," she said. "I am certainly worthy of becoming your wife. O handsome one, let us range together happily through these woods." Lakshman caught Rama's joking mood. "Why do you seek to become a maidservant, foolish woman?" he asked with a laugh. I am dependent on my older brother. As my wife, you will be Sita's servant. You should seek only Rama as your husband. Who could actually refuse you in favor of a human lady? Surely Rama will soon abandon the weak and worn-out Sita once you are his wife. Shurpanakha was too simple to catch the joke. She took Lakshman's words to be true and turned again toward Rama, who sat next to Sita. Why do you cling to this hideous wife of yours? She asked, growing impatient. If it is her who stands between you and me, I shall now devour her, even as you watch. We shall then roam together at ease. Shurpanakha rushed furiously toward Sita, even as a large meteor would fall toward the earth. She assumed her natural form as a Rakshasi, appearing like a black cloud. Rama immediately roared and checked her by the sound alone. As she fell back, Rama said angrily to Lakshman, "It is clear that jests should not be had with cruel, low-class people. See how we have placed Sita in danger. O mighty brother, take your sword and quickly disable this ugly, vile, and wanton being. Do not slay her, as she is a woman." Lakshman drew his sword. He moved swiftly and sliced off the demon's long nose and pointed ears. Shurpanakha screamed in pain. She realized the brothers were formidable and quickly ran off into the woods. Her dissonant and horrible cries could be heard disappearing into the distance as she retreated. She bled profusely and raised her arms as she ran, roaring like a monsoon cloud. The Rakshasi sought her brother Cara, who was the leader of the Rakshasas in the forest. Going before him, drenched in blood and crying loudly, she dropped upon the ground like a bolt from the blue. Cara sat surrounded by numerous powerful Rakshasas. He was holding a massive club. When he saw his sister's state, he frowned. "What fool has done this to you?" The Rakshasa snarled. "Who has ignorantly goaded a poisonous serpent with his finger? Whoever has assailed you has fastened around his neck the noose of death. Tell me explicitly, O sister, who will today meet with his end at my hands?" Cara stood up. He was proud and arrogant. He took the offense to his sister as a personal insult. "Who could possibly have been so bold as to provoke me?" he thundered. Whose foaming blood will soak the earth today? Whose flesh will the vultures delightfully tear from his body when he lies slain by me on the battlefield? Quickly, tell me the name and whereabouts of the wretch. I do not see a being in the three worlds of heaven, earth, and hell who would dare challenge me, including Indra himself. Shurpanakha gathered her senses and answered her furious brother. She told him how she had seen Rama and Lakshman in the forest, appearing young and tender, yet obviously possessed of terrific strength. These two brothers look like Gandharva kings, she said. They are dressed like ascetics and seem to be in perfect control of their senses. I could not ascertain if they were humans, gods, or some other divine beings. In their midst I saw a young lady of faultless form and beauty who shone like the moon. On account of that lady, I was reduced to this state by those two brothers. Shurpanakha asked Cara to kill them immediately. Holding a cloth to her wounded face, she said, I long to drink the blood of that slender woman, as well as those of those of two brothers. Quickly, accomplish my desire, dear brother. Go now to where they are staying and slay them in an encounter. Cara at once ordered 14 powerful Rakshasas to go and attack the two princes. He told his sister to accompany them. Once these Rakshasas have made short work of these three, you may drink their gushing blood. Dragging their corpses on the field of the battle, pierce their soft flesh with your long teeth. Like clouds driven in a storm, the 14 Rakshasas, along with Shurpanakha, sped toward Rama's hermitage. As they arrived, they saw Rama seated at ease with Sita in front of their hut. Lakshman was nearby chopping firewood. Rama saw the Rakshasas entering the area of his hermitage, and he said to Lakshman, "Wait here by Sita's side, O son of Sumitra. I shall quickly dispatch these evil marauders of the forest. Indeed, I have long awaited just such an opportunity." Rama stood up and strung his bow in an instant. He called out to the Rakshasas, "Halt! Why do you seek to injure us? We live here peacefully, harming no one. Armed with my bow, I aim to make this forest free from the likes of you. If you have any love of life, then flee now and never return. Otherwise, stand on the battlefield and witness my show of strength." The Rakshasas looked at Rama and laughed. Each of them was twice as tall as Rama. Their bodies were hugely powerful, and they were equipped with fierce weapons. They considered Rama's threat comical. It was a rare human who could face even one Rakshasa in battle, and they were 14. Their leader replied harshly to Rama, "Foolish human, what power do you have to face us in battle?" He said, "Foolish human, what power do you have to face us in battle?" he said, his voice resounding around Rama's hermitage like a great drum. "You have angered our master, Cara, and therefore brought death upon your head. Hit by our iron clubs and swords, you will soon succumb to our might. Boast while you can, for in a moment you will give up your valor and indeed your life." All 14 Rakshasas rushed at Rama. They roared loudly and hurled large iron darts. Rama stood his ground. Releasing 14 arrows, he cut down the darts as they flew at him. The Rakshasas raised their swords and closed on Rama, their mouths open and their eyes bloodshot. Rama, moving more quickly than the eye could see, at once fired 14 arrows, one after another, at each of the demons. His long, straight shafts were made wholly of iron, with points sharpened on stone. They screamed through the air and hit each demon in the chest. Their hearts ripped apart. The Rakshasas fell to the earth, soaked in blood, like 14 great trees felled by a storm. Shurpanakha was astonished to see Rama's prowess. Surely he was not an ordinary man, nor his weapons those of an ordinary warrior. She ran away in fear and disappointment and fell again before Cara. Cara looked at her in surprise. "Why are you still crying?" he asked. "I have already sent 14 brave fighters to oblige you. Those Rakshasas are unassailable and devoted to pleasing me. Without doubt, they will satisfy your desire. With me and my army as your protector, why do you wail?" Shurpanakha told her brother what had happened. She sat before him trembling, with blood encrusted on her face and clothes. Cara listened in amazement as she spoke. "Although your 14 fighters were angry and impetuous, they were quickly slain by Rama. He exhibited fearsome energy and power. His arrows were like rods of death. All 14 Rakshasas are now prostrate on the ground, killed easily by Rama. O Cara, my mind is possessed by terror when I think of Rama. Be my protector." Shurpanakha rolled about on the ground, beating her chest and shedding tears. She mocked her astonished brother, trying to goad him into battle with Rama. "What is the use of your idle boasts? Go out and face Rama in a fight. You will soon see your energy and pride humbled. Or if you actually do have any power, then let it be proved. Slay the two brothers today and avenge me and your 14 servants. Cara rose up like a serpent that had been kicked. He screamed in anger. In the midst of the other demons, he roared, "My fury is immeasurable. It cannot be held in check any more than a mighty ocean wave. By virtue of my strength, I hold this human Rama of no account whatsoever. His life is already ended. Dry your tears, sister. Today you will see Rama sent to Yamaraja's abode. After I sever his head with my axe, you will drink his hot blood." Shurpanakha was delighted. She praised her brother as a giant among the Rakshasas. Despite his boasts, however, Cara considered Rama a formidable opponent. He gave instructions to his brother and general, Dushana. "O valiant one, prepare my chariot, fill it with every kind of weapon, order all the 14,000 Rakshasas, order all of the 14,000 Rakshasas under my command to prepare themselves for battle. I myself will march at the head of the high-souled Rakshasas to destroy the arrogant Rama." Dushana fetched Cara's huge golden chariot, which shone like the sun and was drawn by 100 spotted horses. It resembled a peak of the golden Mount Meru. In its center, it had a large ensign pole made of cat's eye jewels. The chariot was bedecked with small gold bells, and its sides were studded with red and blue gems and embellished with carvings of alligators, flowers, trees, mountains, lions, tigers, and flocks of birds. Many flags flew from tall poles, and it had 8 golden wheels. Cara indignantly ascended the chariot, and raising his sword, ordered his army to advance. With a great clamor, the vast army sallied forth from the Janistan forest, holding clubs, darts, razor-sharp axes, javelins, maces, swords, scimitars, bows, and sharpened discuses. They moved off, all shouting their battle cries. Cara urged the charioteer to spur on the horses. The sound of the swift-moving chariot filled the four quarters. The army followed behind Cara, some running on foot, some coursing through the air, others riding horses, and still others on the backs of elephants. They were all seized with the desire to kill the enemy. As they drove forward, however, they saw various evil omens. The sky above them was covered with a huge gray cloud, which poured down blood-red water. Cara's horses stumbled and fell even on level ground. The sun appeared to be surrounded by a dark, red-edged halo. A gigantic, frightful vulture settled on Cara's ensign pole. Carnivorous beasts and birds cried in discordant notes, and jackals yelled. The wind blew violently, and thick darkness covered the four quarters. Stars flashed in the sky, and meteors descended with roaring sounds. Cara felt his left arm throbbing violently. His voice grew faint, and his eyes were filled with tears. A sharp pain filled his head, and he heard a loud ringing in his ears. Even though he saw these omens, however, out of folly, Cara did not return. He laughed loudly and said to his followers, "Disregard these evil portents, O Rakshasas. They do not bother me in the least, although they are terrible and inauspicious. I am able to stand before death himself with my sharp arrows. I can shoot the stars from the sky." Cara railed foolishly, considering the omens to be sent by the gods for whom he cared little. He raised his battle axe and bellowed, making the earth shake. How can I return without slaying Rama and Lakshman, who were so proud of their strength? Today my sister will be gratified with the blood of those humans. I have never been defeated in battle, and I am unafraid even of Indra when he stands with the whole heavenly host. The demons felt joy upon hearing Cara's valiant speech. As if bound and dragged by the noose of death, they raced towards Rama's hermitage. In the sky, many rishis assembled to witness the encounter. Gods, Gandharvas, Siddhas, and Charanas came in their aerial cars. The celestial beings, who were friendly to all, spoke together. May all be well with the Brahmins, they said. Even as Vishnu conquered the foremost demons with his discus weapon, may Rama annihilate the Rakshasas. While the gods looked on, Cara, surrounded by his powerful generals, rushed forward, eagerly seeking combat. The Rakshasas suddenly approached the two princes, even as a group of planets might rush toward the sun and the moon. From his hermitage, Rama had also seen the evil omens. Behold these portents, O brother, foreboding the imminent destruction of the Rakshasas. These gray clouds are raining blood, while my arrows are shaking in their quivers. This undoubtedly means death will soon overtake the entire Rakshasa horde. Rama felt his right arm throb, and his mind becoming enlivened. Such favorable omens indicated his victory. Although all around him he saw evil portents, he concluded that there would shortly be an encounter between himself and the Rakshasas, from which he would emerge victorious. As Rama contemplated in this way, he heard the distant crash of Cara's advancing army. The sound of beating drums and roaring Rakshasas filled the air. Quickly taking Sita by the hand, Rama said to Lakshman, Take this delicate princess to some safe cave on the mountain. Please, don't hesitate. Rama knew his brother was longing to confront the Rakshasas, but Sita had to be protected. Lakshman obeyed Rama's order immediately and took Sita to a concealed cave which was difficult to reach. After placing her inside, he stood at the entrance holding his bow. Rama put on the golden coat of mail Augusta had given him. He strapped on 2 inexhaustible quivers of arrows, and tied his sword to his belt. Standing rooted on the spot, Rama looked like a brilliant flame suddenly appearing in darkness. He twanged his bow, which filled the quarters with its terrifying sound. The gods looked on, eager for the Rakshasas to be destroyed. They gazed at Rama, who stood fearlessly before the charging Rakshasas. He resembled the invincible Shiva, seized with fury, but he was single-handedly facing 14,000 terrible demons. Curious to see the outcome, the gods watched in anticipation. As the Rakshasa army rushed toward Rama, they seemed like a mass of dark blue clouds. The forest animals fled, terrified by the sound of the approaching army. Rama suddenly saw the Rakshasas coming at him from all sides. They screamed in fury and hurled their spears, darts, and clubs. From his chariot, Cara released 1,000 flaming arrows and roared loudly. Rama stood firm. He was pierced with numerous arrows, and his limbs were smeared with blood. With his own arrows, he cut down the rain of weapons. Axes, swords, lances, and spiked maces were thrown at him with the force of a tempest. Rama whirled around and parried the weapons with his straight flying arrows. As the foremost Rakshasas closed in on him, mounted on elephants, Rama seemed like Mount Sumeru, assailed by thunderclouds. He did not feel afflicted, even though struck again and again. Fully hemmed in on all sides, Rama looked like the sun screened by evening clouds. The gods felt dejected and fearful, beholding Rama standing alone amid thousands of Rakshasas. They cried out, "Victory to Rama!" Understanding their fear, Rama resolved to kill the Rakshasas. He began shooting his gold-tipped arrows, 3 or 4 at a time, in all directions. With his bow drawn constantly to a circle, Rama moved with the speed of a hawk. An unbroken line of deadly shafts left his bow. Those arrows passed right through the bodies of a dozen Rakshasas before falling to the earth. Rama's arrows smashed the Rakshasas' weapons and chariots and tore apart their golden armor. With their arms, legs, and heads severed, countless Rakshasas fell lifeless on the ground. Rama was enraged. He shot innumerable shafts that could not be intercepted or endured, and which killed the demons by the thousands. Horses, elephants, and Rakshasas lay mangled on the ground. Crushed by Rama, the Rakshasas sent up a piteous wail. Some fierce and brave Rakshasas, who were leaders of the army and possessed of terrible might, rushed at Rama, hurling their barbed missiles and iron pikes. But Rama smashed their weapons to pieces, even as they flew at him. With razor-headed arrows, he cut off the Rakshasas' heads. They toppled over like trees, knocked down by a blast from Garuda's wings. The surviving Rakshasas, wounded and dispirited, ran to Cara for protection. Cara consoled them and ordered Dushana to attack.